we go. If I'm looking down, it's because I'm looking at my phone to make sure we're live.
Okay.
It takes a minute.
Yeah.
There we are. Okay. Hey, everybody. I'm here this morning with Savannah Clark of Savannah's Dog Grooming, which recently, I believe, right, opened on Fort Riley?
Yes, just about probably about 3 weeks ago.
Okay, awesome. So Savannah, tell me about yourself, whatever you'd like to share. Usually people share about their family, how long they or their spouse has been in the military, where you've lived, how long you've lived here, that kind of thing.
Okay. So I have two boys, and I've been married to my husband for 4 years now. He's been in the military for 5. We were stationed in Alaska. About 2 months ago is when we PCS'd, and we're both originally from Maine, so Kansas is a totally different ball game for us.
Okay.
But I had my grooming shop up in Alaska, and I loved it. I met so many great people, and I loved being home with my boys. So they're really young, they're 1 and 3.
Okay.
Being with them's a big priority. So when I got here, it was really great when I looked into it, and it was super easy and simple to start back up here. And yeah.
Awesome. Great. So, tell us a little about, I mean, obviously it's dog grooming. That's
Yeah.
pretty self-explanatory, but what else can you share about your business? Do you have anything you particularly specialize in, or how does it work? I think you do it in your home, correct? So people bring.
Yeah, we've actually converted part of our garage, and then right across the hall is the bathroom. So I was able to put a tub right in there, so it's all nice and close together. Um, and I've done a lot of de-sheds, kind of just coming from Alaska, working with huskies. Everything sheds like crazy up there. And I also own my own husky and a lab, so I've done a lot of de-sheds. I've really worked on that, finding the best products, things like that. And really just the convenience of it being on Fort Riley was what I was looking for when I was coming here. I was like, you know what, I want to be on base again. It's just convenient, especially like I try to do my hours so people can drop off. I know everybody's different, but usually like 9 o'clock, everybody goes back to work. So after PT, you can drop off, pick up on lunchtime, your dog will be done, and things like that. Just trying to make it as convenient as possible. I know that traveling to Manhattan, Junction City, if you don't live too close, it can be difficult. So that was my main thing that I was really looking for, was more the convenience of it all.
Awesome. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but that makes sense with you being on post and then being able to drop off and come back later. I'm sure that is helpful. All right. So obviously you've been here for 3 weeks, but how long have you been? Did you say you had your dog grooming business in Alaska as well?
Yeah, so I had it in actually in Maine. My husband and I, we both went to college, we graduated. We both were doing our own thing. I opened my own shop. I was working as a licensed tech and had my own shop, and then he decided to join the military. And so we up and moved to Alaska. And I worked for another grooming shop there for a bit and loved it. I learned so much from those ladies. And then once I had my kids, I opened my own shop there. So I've had my own shop. I've been self-employed now for about 2 years.
Awesome. But it sounds like quite a few years
Yeah, I've been a professional groomer on my own in my own shop and worked for other people for the past 8 years.
Okay. Wow. Awesome. So since you moved, you had opened your own shop in Alaska and then you moved here. So tell us about the experience of moving your business and having to PCS your whole business, your whole shop.
Yeah. A lot of people are very sad. That was the most heartbreaking part, was leaving. But I had a lot of friends who, back and forth, everybody kind of knows each other. So really, even coming here, I already had 2 or 3 friends that were from Alaska that were already here. And so whenever I was going through the paperwork process and trying to buy new equipment and set things up, they were so encouraging. The whole time it was great to have, that community kind of still here, even if it's only just a few people. So that was, my experience was really, really positive. Really, the community is very supporting here, I found, with small businesses.
Great. And That's what, yeah, that's one of the benefits of the military community, I think, is you, even if you move, you probably know somebody, or you at least know somebody who knows somebody there. So you've already kind of got that built-in connection. Um, and I didn't touch on this. I should have touched on this a little bit ago when I asked about your business, but you are approved by housing. You've done all the paperwork and everything, correct? So nobody needs to worry that if they drop off their dog, the MPs are going to come bust the place and and take the dogs or anything like that, because you're
I
cleared in all those ways.
Yes, I am registered through MWR. Tracy is who I went through. If anybody's looking for any information on that, super sweet, super helpful. I just need a few signatures, and I know they changed the process here and there, but need insurance. And I did have to go through Kansas State. I am an LLC, so I'm legally a business also in Kansas. So, yep.
Okay, awesome. And you said that wasn't a horrible process. I think it intimidates people when you say, well, you need to register, and I think people get a little nervous about that.
They do. Yeah, I was very nervous about it because in Alaska, there's really no laws, period. And we were off coast too, so they're very lax, very chill kind of everything. And then coming here, and everybody was super helpful. It was super simple and business friendly.
Awesome. That's good to know for people out there who maybe are like, oh, I don't think I want to do that. It sounds scary. And I know, because I have an LLC in Kansas, that process is super easy as well.
Oh yeah,
It's you fill out a form online and you pay some money, and that's pretty much it.
pretty much.
Awesome. Okay, well, we've touched on this a little bit, but I'll ask just in case there's anything else you want to add. As far as your experience of running a business as a military spouse, how has that been? And what would you say is the biggest struggle? And what would you say is the biggest benefit?
Biggest struggle is definitely the schedule. Also the biggest benefit probably there too, but it's just scheduling around other people's schedules, having the availability. My husband comes and goes, so I never know. Sometimes, he's been 48 hours and he's deployed before, so sometimes those kind of things are rough. But the biggest benefit is also being home with my boys. Being 1 in 3, they have their own struggles in growing, and watching them grow without dad sometimes is really difficult. But being able to be a parent who's still there, it's been the biggest benefit of it all.
Yeah, that makes sense. Awesome. So if your neighbor or somebody you knew came up to you and said, I'm thinking about starting a business, and it could be any business, what is the biggest 1 or 2 pieces of advice you would give them as they are thinking about that option?
Definitely, if you're gonna go do it the whole way. Start it. It's a great thing to do. If you're looking for it to be a full-time income, or whether it's just a side thing, just do it all the way. There's, so many people out there. You have such a great community to reach out to. They're so supportive that get it out there. There's plenty of Facebook pages you can advertise on, but come across as professional. You need to put your boundaries, state them from the beginning, and stick to them. And always be kind. If it means you have to take an extra 5 minutes out of your day to help someone, then that's what you do. I try to accommodate people as much as I can, without stressing myself out. But that's the biggest thing. If you can just, hey, an extra 5 minutes of inconvenience for me, but will make a really big difference with somebody else. So if you are thinking about starting a business, first off, go for it, try it, and do it the full way. Gotta go through with it, and that's about it.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think figuring out how to be kind and go that extra mile for your clients, but also maintain boundaries that keep you and your family healthy is it's a challenging thing to balance, but it's really, really important.
Mhm.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so if a different friend came up to you and said, I think I want to get into dog grooming, what would your advice for that person be?
Get the professional training. I know a lot of groomers who've just learned from other groomers. I think there's a lot of Alaska where there's no grooming facilities that teach. There's no schools, and you have to go to Seattle or other places. And the one thing that I have noticed is going somewhere where you can be professionally trained, where they're going to teach you the background of things, where they're going to teach you how to take care of your equipment and how to talk to customers. I know that was my biggest struggle, was figuring out what people want when they come for their grooming and being open and asking a lot of questions. But I learned a lot of that right in school. And there's a lot of other groomers out there who are amazing who can teach, but a lot of us can't. And so if you can find a really good school, is the #1 way to get into dog grooming. You can always start off in bathing and then see if you like it and go from there. I know some groomers will train, but honestly, I feel like school is just the best way to go because you'll learn so much more.
That makes sense. And with having to travel to those schools, how long are the programs, would you say? Like,
Everyone's a little bit different. The program I did, I think I had to do about 400 hours.
okay.
It took me a good almost a year to do because I went part-time. But they started me off with tools and they taught me everything. And a lot of them are like a semester long, sometimes even longer. As
Okay.
far as you have to pass tests and things like that too. So you might end up staying longer if you can't pass those tests.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks. That's helpful. I always like to ask in case anybody out there is like, I know military spouses kind of always have their radar on of what could I do that could move with me. So I always ask our interviewees what what's involved in getting into that career. Okay, what are you doing in response to COVID? Are you, I mean, is there anything that's different? Obviously here it was already happening when you started, but
Yes.
like kind of just speak to whatever your whatever your COVID precautions are, I guess.
So I usually only do one client's pet at a time, at least each appointment. You might have a little bit of overlap and stuff. But for the most part, I just try to do one person at a time kind of thing. Everybody has to wear masks and just keeping the distancing and things like that. I'm obviously sanitizing everything in between dogs and trying to limit, exposure and stuff like that.
Sure. Okay. That's awesome. Well, those are all the questions I have. Is there anything that you would like to share about your business, about what you've got going on, or anything you want to add?
Not really.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I really, really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me this morning and to share about your business. And I did tag your Facebook page on this video on the description. So anybody out there who wants to get their dog groomed or de-shedded, it sounds like that's a big one. Then look up that Facebook page and get a hold of Savannah, and that would be great. If you have any other questions, post them on here, and one of us will be happy to jump on and answer as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much and have a great weekend.
You too.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.